What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today I want to talk about team composition. Now I got a new intro, check it out and let me know what you think. Now me and a couple of my buddies were playing and we went against a team with 3 carries and 2 casters. Murdoch, Revenant, Wukong, and Morgesh and Countess. Now, in my mind, all video games are just about having fun. But you can't really have a whole lot of fun when you're just getting outplayed. Not because you're not a skilled player, but because you cannot compete against a decent team comp. With the introduction of these kind of hybrid carries such as Yin and Seraph, Wukong, and Revenant, I've seen a lot more teams running 2 carries and being very successful. But having 2 carries means you definitely need to have either a true support or a tank, or maybe even both. Having 2 carries in one lane is a terrible idea because they're both going to try to get last hits, and you're going to end up with 2 unfed carries that really cannot help the team out a whole lot. Now my buddy Wukong is on our off lane going against Rev and Murdoch, which this is going to make it very easy to gank. Sure, I might die, but as the jungler, hey, if I can take out an ADC, that's completely okay. Now, with the opposing team only having one sort of CC, and that being Countess's ultimate, it's going to make this match fairly easy to just kind of walk all over them. Now, there are going to be heroes you play against that, hey, I play Revenant, this is the only hero I play, it's the one I want to play. And it might kind of hinder your team comp, especially if they're the last pick and you're expecting them to go support and they don't. But having a full team go 3 ADCs and 2 casters, someone should have stepped up and said, hey, I'm not going to go for this, this is going to be a bad decision. Paragon's match actually starts in the drafting screen. Counter picking and getting good team comp is really important. I don't know if you've ever gone against like a Decker, Aurora, and a Gideon, but the wombo combo potential of those 3 heroes makes team fights just end up one way. A great example of getting a good team comp is when the enemy team picks an Aurora. If you don't have a purity sensor online, it's going to make it really hard to just be able to react to her ultimate. You know, she jumps in during the team fight in ults. Your team is going to get frozen and most likely get a lot of damage put on them. Making sure you are counter picking is key to Paragon. Now in this game, we did not have just a whole lot of team fighting because at a certain point, we constantly had one of their teammates down. And this is just strictly because they have no means of support or any kind of tanking ability. No one can really absorb damage. And when you have a team that just cannot absorb that damage, you know, you're going to go down fairly easy. This is why counter picking and, you know, really team composition is just key to Paragon. Here's another example of a Revenant just not having a support, not having just any hero with him, and I'm able to get a fairly easy gank on him. He did dip back into his tower, so I turned around, but I knew he was going to come right back out, turned around, jumped on him, and with me being fairly healthy, I just went ahead and dove him and ended up getting this kill. Just a little bit later, after I backed from that Revenant kill, I picked up the black buff, kind of looked around, saw there was a potential gank, and I went and headed over to the safe lane, went and did a rotation on to Morgesh, was able to pick up that kill, I almost died for this, but luckily my team was there and kind of circled around, and then we ended up getting another kill on their Wukong. This is just because their team comp is lacking and they can't really keep us from, getting out that damage. If I was the only one that was focused. I took a lot of tower damage, but their Wukong and Morgesh together were so unfed and had such little output that Revenant and Narbash took almost no damage during that fight. This is where it's kind of starting to go to my head, where I'm just able to really put out some damage on people. Murdoch and Revenant were pushing their safe lane again. I go in, I'm able to secure this Revenant, although I'm taking a lot of damage. And then I try to dip out. I would have got away if this Countess didn't rotate, I believe. Even though I had barely any health, I might have been able to get away. And this is just strictly because their team comp cannot defend against, people doing damage. Now it's 11 minutes in, and our Revenant and Narbash are not able to rotate. And I just really want to get this tower down. We have a lot of carries on their team, so really pushing hard to keep them from getting fed is really important. Because with a team comp like this, if they all do get to 60 points, it's going to be very hard for us, because almost every hero is going to be able to do substantial damage, no matter how tanky you are. Now this tower is going to fall. It has very little that it needs to be done. I just go ahead and go in. Well, Revenant ulted me, so I'm just going to go for him. I have a feeling that my team's going to be able to clean this up no problem, especially since he just used his ultimate. And we ended up going in and getting a tower and a ADC and a caster for just a jungle death. That's a great win. Here's another example of me being just extremely thirsty with this kill, and I managed to run away. Well, their Revenant decided to chase me for whatever reason. I ended up getting on him, getting the kill, and being able to retreat. So there's another ADC down. If he would have had any kind of support, or if he just ran away, I probably would have had to back with such low health. But I ended up being able to stay in the fight, and it ended up even getting a Murdoch kill. So 2 ADCs for a jungler death is a great win again. Just a little while later, their Murdoch gets just slightly pushed up too far. I'm able to jump in and secure this kill, and their Revenant ults me. I started chasing, just decided to back up. It's really not worth it. They're going to be in their tower. But this is just showing you that we really need to work on team comp as a community. Picking heroes that you want to play over heroes that need to be played really makes the game just not quite as enjoyable. After killing Murdoch, we go to secure Raptors, and their Morgesh ends up coming over here, and I believe Wukong even rotates over too, and there's really just nothing that they can do to stop us from taking these Raptors, or even, keep us from actually getting kills on them when they're the ones on the offense. Now, as I said before, this is kind of going to my head because we are just really walking all over these heroes, and I end up trying to solo push this tower, and they have a decent team rotation. I end up dying here, but this frees my team up to really start pushing other lanes with such a big rotation. Here's one of the best examples that I can give of just team comp and not being able to farm. I go in for this Morgesh with a wave of 15 of her minions. I'm able to not only secure the kill, but with the wave of minions, I get back up to full health and continue on. I was really trying not to waste a whole lot of mana there, or I would have killed her faster, but as you can see, I'm almost back to full health, and I got a secured kill in an enemy wave of minions. It's team comp is everything. We end up going in on the Raptors, and we see a small rotation towards us, and just decide, hey, let's go take out some enemies. We're all full health. This should be fairly easy. We end up letting a few escape here and there, but for the most part, we get kills on pretty much a good portion of their team. Here's their Countess. I'm able to ult her, get her out of her shadow slip. She's a fairly easy kill. Wukong's in the middle. We have our Gideon control ult on. We get Wukong. Here's Murdoch, doing his best to stay alive. He just cannot handle the amount of pressure we're able to put out and the amount of damage we're able to take, especially since he's not as fed as our heroes are. Now I'm going for this inhib, but I'm starting to take quite a bit of damage. We end up actually securing that Revenant kill, and this is just simply, hey, wait for the minions to come in, down this inhib, and it really took us longer to end this game than I would have liked, because, they do have quite a bit of damage and they're able to hold us off, fairly well. But, yeah, we're making really good progress. I should not have gone into that core, but in my mind I'm thinking, hey, let's just go ahead and end this. At this point, the only option they really have is to go for Prime. Gideon's going to push the mid lane, so I clear this wave up, let it push up to him, and we just go in there and try to get into a big brawl because the game's over. And although this wasn't probably the best idea, we really were not concerned about anything. We just wanted to go get a bunch of kills and have some fun. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this team comp video. I really hope that I showed that having a team comp, regardless of skill level, is more important than picking the heroes that you just want to play. Sure, if you want to go in and just have some fun, that's fine, but realize that if you're going to do that, try not to do that with solo queue players or, in groups of 2 or 3, because that's really going to make the game more salty and, less enjoyable, which is what you're trying to do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.